read through the questions, see if you can't set up a rate. A lot of times we're going to put the distance on top and the minutes or the seconds or the time on the bottom, which makes sense in this problem. If we want to end up in feet per second, we'd like to start with that distance on top, and we'd like to start with that time on the bottom. Think about how that problem would work. See if you can convert what we know into feet per second, and then take your best shot at the one on the bottom as well, and we'll walk through there. All right, let's take a look at this. First things first, I'm going to go ahead and set our problem up for us. Again, we put our distance on the top, our time on the bottom, 730 yards every 5 minutes. Now, we could divide that and find a number, but we've got some work to do. If we want to convert into feet per second, the first thing I'm going to get rid of are my minutes. I know that I've got minutes on the bottom again. So again, if I want to get rid of the minutes on the bottom, I'm going to need to put those minutes on the top. 1 minute as every 60 seconds. And again, I want to end up in seconds. Seconds are a good thing for us. And we will go ahead and, when we're ready, we can multiply those two things. But as long as we're at it, we don't want yards, we want feet. So let's go at the same time. Let's go ahead and set that up. Let's remember that there's, again, 3 feet in every yard. If yards were on the top, we're going to cancel that by putting yards on the bottom, so that when we multiply, those yards will disappear. Those two labels kind of cancel each other away. It's an easy way to make sure you line up the numbers correctly. So now the only two labels we're left with are seconds and feet. We want to end up in feet per second. Feet on the top, seconds on the bottom. Looks pretty good. So now the only thing left to do is the math. So again, let's take what's on the top and we'll multiply. 730 times 3, which will come out to 2190. I'm just going to go off to the side and do a little scratch work. 2190. But I need to divide by, again, we've got 5 times 60 times 1 on the bottom. 5 times 60 is 300. So if we divide those two numbers, 2190 divided by 300, we've got 73 grand total. And again, we are in feet per second. We've got our answer. For that problem down on the bottom, it's sort of the same idea. You're teaching your friend to drive a boat. You drive 4 miles to an open location. Well, we've already gone 4 miles. So again, notice the final question. What total distance do you and your friend travel? The first thing I'm going to start off saying is, hey, I've traveled 4 miles already. I need to add on the rest of the distance. The trick is, we know that we've traveled for 15 minutes. So I'm going to go over here real quick. 15 minutes. And I've traveled at a rate of 25 miles per hour. 25 miles per hour. Well, I would love to just multiply those two things. We have our old friend, the dirt formula, where we can always say distance equals rate times time. But the problem is my rate and my time don't line up. My rate is in hours and my time is in minutes. So I need to do a little bit of conversion here. I'm going to have to convert this just a little bit. If I put 15 over 1, because again, anything can be over 1, 15 over 1 is just 15. If we try to multiply these, my labels don't line up. So what I need to do is do a little label conversion. If my hours are on the bottom, again, I'm going to put hours on the top. If I have minutes on the top, 15 minutes, I'm going to put my minutes on the bottom. And I know that in 1 hour, there are 60 minutes. Well, what that's going to do for us is means minutes on the bottom cancels the minutes, the hours cancel the hours, and notice the only label we have left is in miles. Well, that's a distance, and we're trying to find a distance, so that's a good thing. Let's take our 15 times 25 on top times 1, and 1 times 1 times 60 is 60, so 15 times 25 on top. Divide that by our 60 on the bottom, and we end up with 6.25 miles. But now remember, that's just the distance your friend drove, so we need to add that 6.25 miles onto our 4 miles, Notice our labels line up, so we can add those two things. Comes out to 10.25 miles. I hope that helps you with unit conversions and also relating the real world, right, verbal expressions to algebraic expressions. If you have any questions, talk to your teacher. Otherwise, have a great day.